everyone, this is Marcus Curtis from Marcus Curtis Music. Now, if you're like me, you have a computer that you use for recording music, but this computer serves a lot of other purposes as well. And sometimes you go into these recording sessions and you begin to run into problems. Maybe your DAW is not working right, or maybe there's an issue with the operating system or something of that nature. And then you wind up spending your whole recording session troubleshooting. And nothing can be more frustrating, nothing can be more aggravating, nothing can kill your inspiration more than troubleshooting during a recording session. So I'm going to show you three tips that you can do, three things you can do that will eliminate troubleshooting and actually provide a smoother recording experience for you. Now, the first thing you can do is you can go down and turn off the internet. Get off the internet before you record. Simply just hit your little internet icon and go over here and just disconnect. This is my router right here. The reason you want to do this is because sometimes you'll have system programs that are operating in the background, like say Microsoft Update, and the whole time you're doing your recording session, you're downloading updates from Microsoft, or Microsoft is installing updates while you're recording music. That eats up system resources. And in addition to that, one time I had the computer reboot because of an update that was going on, and I was in the middle of a recording, and it just ruined the best recording track I had for the day. So because of Microsoft updates and other programs that run in the background, some of the best things you can do is turn off the internet. Now, I'm using Sonar Platinum as my recording software. This is my DAW, and it has some features built into it that you can access the internet while it's open. And it's fine, to have it on and then open up Sonar and use those features. But if you're doing a major recording project, you can avoid a lot of issues simply by disconnecting from the internet. Now, some people don't, but I've run into problems, and a lot of times some of the problems I've run into was because I was connected to the internet, and then some program was running in the background that was communicating in the internet, and that just ruined my recording. Okay, so turn off the internet. This step number 2, what you can do is you can turn off programs that run in the background that you don't need. And this is pretty easy to do. So if you go down here in the right hand corner here, you can see that these are all programs that are open in Windows 10, and it's running in the background here. But like I have AI Charger here, okay, and I have some Defender, Windows Defender, and the GoPro Quick. But programs like OBS Studio and Skype, they're full-blown programs. So these other ones are running in the background. But this is not all that's running in the background. Let's go over here to the Start button and right-click. Now, we'll go ahead, once we right-click, go up to Task Manager, click on Task Manager, and you can see a different story. Now, sometimes if you open up Task Manager, your screen will look like this, okay? And you'll just see the main programs that are open. To get to the other programs, just hit More Details, and that'll open up the full Task Manager here. So we have our main programs that are open, the CPU it's using, the memory it's using, the disk space, and the network, okay? So look at this, background processes. These are all apps that are open. There's 61 of them. These are all apps that are open. As we scroll down, you'll see another category. Here is Windows processes. These are basically system processes. There's 78 of those that are open. Now look at all of these. Each one of these things is eating up system resources. So what you want to do is you want to close the ones that you don't need. So let me give you an example here. Let's go over to performance here. You can see on our CPU we have an Intel i7, which is a pretty good CPU, 3.4 gigahertz. And you can see the CPU capacity that's being used right now. Click on memory here. We have 8 gigs of memory. Look at all the memory that's being used, and all this memory a lot of it is due to backup programs. We have 4.7 gigabytes available right now, 3.2 gigabytes in use and rest. And we have 4.7 cached. That's probably what's available. 4.7 available. Okay, so we go down to Open Resource Monitor. Click on that. And you can see here's our overview. But let's look at memory in a little bit more detail. Okay, so installed. This is the amount of memory we have installed. This is our total physical memory. This is the amount cached. This is the free memory. And this is the cached memory available to use. And this is the available amount. Okay, so we have, this is the memory used by processes, drives, operating systems, etc. This is modified, 24 megabytes is modified. On standby, we have 4.7 gigs. And free memory that's not being allocated for anything is only 5 megabytes. So what we want to do is free up system resources. So to do this, we'll go ahead and go over to processes. Now there's two ways you can close out these programs. You can go down here, see like for Skype for example, right click, go to quit. And my Skype is in another system, so Skype is going to quit. It's on another monitor. My Skype is on another monitor. So, okay, right click on this one, we can exit. We can right click on the cloud and exit. Close OneDrive. Okay, so we can right click. Oh, also let's go ahead and get off the internet. Disconnect. And we are now off the internet, and we can close quit Malwarebytes. So we're closing out down here, and we're also at the same time it's closing out in here. But sometimes when you close out down here, a certain section of the program will remain running in here. Okay, so one of the better things you can do is just go in here and close them out like a Acrobat tray. Just highlight that, right click, and go over to End Task, and you just shut the program down. Now everything you don't need, just shut it down. We started out with over 60 processes here, and we're just gonna go ahead and shut the ones down we don't need. AI Charger is like a USB charging program. We don't need that. There's another AI Charger. Now, if you're not sure application frame host, say you don't know what this does, leave it alone. Anything you don't know what its function is, just leave it alone. Okay. Anything that you are not going to use, that you know you're not going to use, you can go ahead and close. Cortana, you're not going to be able to close this. The minute you close it, it'll come right up again. So don't even mess with it. But close the ones you can. Google Crash Handler, we're not on the internet. We don't need that. And so we just close that out. We're not using a GoPro camera right now, so we can just close that out. I'm not using Groove Music. I can close that out. AI store data. This is an Intel thing. I'm going to leave that open. Anything that says Intel, I'm going to leave open because that could be directly related to a chipset or the processor. Java. I don't need an update running in the background, especially because the internet is down. Movies and TVs. I can end that. Okay. So right now, look, I've closed out. We're down to 43 processes. Okay. We'll go past the graphic cards for now. We don't need to have the Windows Store open. We're not online, so we're not going to be able to use it anyway. We can close out the wireless LAN too. I'm just going to leave it in place. It's a hardware thing. I'm just going to leave that in place for now. So as we go up, stereo vision is part of the graphics card. We can close that out. Spooler is the print function. And if you're not going to use your printer, then you can go ahead and close this as well. Sometimes, if you have your DAW open, you will use the printer to print off sheet music if it's transposed into sheet music. We don't need any network service. We don't need the streaming service. We don't need the help. Okay. So now we're down to 36 processes that are running in the background. Okay. Now, when we get down here to system, I would say if you don't know what any of these things do, leave them alone. Some things are internet related, and if you know what you're doing, then go in here and shut them down. But if you don't know what they're doing, leave them alone. Now, there's another thing you can do. Just go over here where it says startup. All these programs start up when you turn on your computer. So even though I shut a lot of them off, when I reboot my computer, all the ones that shut down will come back up. But let's say I don't want the Apple one to come up. I just highlight that, go down to disable, and it's disabled. So now when I start my computer, this will not start. Okay. Same thing I can do with all the Adobe ones. I can disable them. I can also highlight and right click and disable. That seems to be a little bit faster. And this is Intel Corporation. I'm going to leave this alone because this is usually this is our AI. I'm going to leave this alone. GoPro, I don't need that to come up. I can disable that. I don't need the Java update. I can disable that. So I will be responsible to check for updates for Java because it's no longer going to come up when I turn my computer on. I don't need the OneDrive to come on every time I turn my computer on. I don't need this Nikon program to come up every time I turn my computer on. Let's see what else we got here. Skype. I don't want Skype to load every time. And then all these other ones I'm going to leave alone. So most of these processes will come back when I reboot my computer. The ones that I don't want to come back, I've turned off over here. And let's go ahead and close that out. So the first thing, shut off the internet. Second thing, shut off all programs that run in the background. And the third thing is to verify that your hardware is seen by Windows when you turn it on. And to do this, you go down to the Start button, right click on the Start button, and you go up to Device Manager. When you click on Device Manager, you get a list of all the hardware that is in your computer, all the hardware that is seen by the operating system. And you go ahead and click on this window where it says Audio Inputs, and you can see all the audio inputs that are working and running right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my audio interface, and as I do, you should see these load in the Device Manager. Oh, another audio interface. Okay, so we've verified that all of the hardware is seen by Windows. Sometimes what happens is you just plug in via USB your audio interface or your MIDI interface, and you turn on your software, and Windows has not seen it or recognized it. So by verifying that that software is plugged in through Device Manager, you know that Windows sees it. And believe it or not, this will prevent a lot of conflict. And you can eliminate some things in the operating system if you wind up troubleshooting. Okay. So now let's go over to Task Manager, right click. We're going to open up Task Manager again, and we can see our processes. We're at 39. See, some have started up again. Let's see what we got that we can turn off. User experience. Spooler came back up. We'll go ahead and end that task. Okay, so now for the big test. Let's go over here to where it says Performance. Click on Performance. See that now we have 5.5 gigabytes available. If we open our resource monitor and we go ahead and we'll look at our memory now. Free, we have 391 megabytes. On standby, we have 5,194 megabytes. Okay. And look, our system memory has dropped. See, this is where we gained the most. Okay, so this is important. The more RAM you have and the more free the CPU is, the better things are going to go during your recording process. And the less things running in the background, the more trouble-free your recording environment is going to be. Now we can go ahead and start our DAW. Now that our DAW is started, we have a little error thing that says that I don't have any MIDI devices connected. When I do have a MIDI device connected, this is what I mean by troubleshooting. But let's go ahead and continue with no MIDI device. And we're going to go ahead and exit out. And now let's go down to our Start, right click, go up to Device Manager. It's going to open up. Let's look at our audio inputs. As we scan down, we can see that our audio interface is not connected. So let's go ahead and disconnect and I plugged it into a USB 3.0. I did it on purpose just to show you the kind of things that can happen here. So we're going to go ahead and plug that into a USB 2.0, and voila, there is our keyboard. Okay, so this is why you want Device Manager open. You want to verify that all your hardware is on. So here's a keyboard, here's my Pod X3, one of my audio interfaces, and then I have all the Tascam stuff, which is my other audio interface stuff. So now when I start Sonar, and it comes right up. So see, you can plug an audio interface into an input that USB input that won't recognize, or that's why you want to use Device Manager to verify that your hardware is working. And so now it's just a matter of beginning whatever recording project you want, and you can get right to work. You don't have to worry about issues with the operating system, because a lot of times you've verified that the hardware is seen by the operating system. You've shut down anything running in the background, and you're disconnected from the internet. So there's no software programs that's conflicting with your DAW application. So now if you're running into issues, it's probably within the DAW application itself. These 3 steps: turning off the internet, turning off any programs that run in the background, verifying that the hardware is seen by Windows, will save you a lot of time. And when you reboot your computer, those processes that you shut off will come back anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you follow these 3 steps, you will save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and it will only take a minute to do it. You'll be surprised how quick it is once you get it down, what you have to do. You can fly through it and you'll be up and running in no time. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. We have more videos coming with more tips and more tricks. We're going to do some hardware reviews. So if you subscribe, you can keep up with all the stuff we put out. And hopefully you've enjoyed this, and hopefully this is going to help you. Thanks for watching.